hold my tongue never. I say what I feel, look you in the eye, never ran, never will. Hold my own destiny, both hands on the wheel. In the darkness they found light, so at the top of your lungs scream, this ain't life. So when they move left, you move right, you move right. Hold my tongue never. I say what I feel, look you in the eye, never ran, never will. Hold my own destiny, both hands on the wheel.
Welcome to LUDE Presents Rabbit Holes live from the garage here tonight. I got kicked out of the office. For those of you who haven't listened, um, this show it's anything and everything really. But where we're starting at, we're saying it's like a 1 hour car ride with somebody you know, maybe somebody you don't know, maybe you know something about them, maybe you don't. Uh, well, in this situation, I know a little bit about our guest, Leon. Leon Andrews is a first time author. He's got a book he just completed and is out called We Become Beasts. And at this moment, I am going to bring him on, introduce him to myself and the audience. We've only talked briefly, and we'll just kind of see where this conversation goes here today. So, Leon Andrews, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me on today's show. That was a very good introduction, so I really appreciate that.
Hey, I try my best here.
How are you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm doing awesome. I had a busy day. I did some traveling for
Mm,
work, work the other work. Did some
the other
traveling
work.
for work and got home to the kids and had to do some child events and pick some people up from some things, but we're back. We made it.
Hey, we made it. We did it, guys. We cured cancer. We did it.
So tonight is the 14th episode. So just to, I'll be transparent with you. This is the
Okay.
14th episode I've ever done. I take it back. 15th. I guested on a show the other night, which was fun, but we had some technical difficulties.
Oh, okay. I got you. I have a podcast on hiatus, so I know how that is.
Yeah.
I've
So
been
what was
running
your
it for about.
podcast?
It was just my journey, man.
Cool,
It's
cool.
all, and then I talked about myself. I talked about things that I was doing. It was kind of the best way to look at it was just like it was a weekly audio log.
Cool.
Star date 100492.5.1. That's literally how every episode was, but really wasn't. And a lot of it was just mostly about my journey and about how the way I would do things and my approach to life and student debt. But it's
I
on
love it.
hiatus. Yeah, it's on hiatus right now, just in favor of other stuff.
So I'll tell you, I mean, that's the thing. It's on hiatus, but you can come back. But that's the best thing about these. We'll call they're shows, they're whatever they are. They're us just trying things. We're trying to have fun with it, which I'm having a lot of fun with it. Um,
It's
you
groovy,
guesting on
man.
my show. I mean, hopefully we can have some fun here talking. And hey, if you ever get started back up again, I'll look forward to maybe coming on and saying hi. How about that?
It all depends on what we agree or disagree on, and
Okay.
I might have a real DC later, so we'll see how that twist comes about and works itself
Okay.
organically
I'm
later.
excited. See this.
I
I've already got
know.
intrigued
That's
to this.
the starting point.
Yeah.
We'll get into it, and when it comes back in as a midpoint to just throw a wrench into everything, we'll see
Okay.
how that goes, man.
All right. Let's roll with it. So to start, let's just give you a second. And like I said, I'm learning tonight too. So
Do
I
it.
guess before we go any further, I'm talking to another person here later. His name's Rick. He'll be on episode number 15, and
Mm,
he's gonna teach me about some things. So that's
mm.
almost how I look at these episodes now that I think about it. Like you're gonna teach me about your book, your process, publishing, all those things. So like this shows like where I come to. This is my graduate school.
Yeah.
I interview people and I get to learn about their profession, learn about their, what they're doing, and I'm having a great time about it. So tell me and tell our audience about We Become
Groovy.
Beasts, what it is.
All right. So the story that I wrote is called We Become Beasts. It is a self-published book that I wrote, I authored,
Mhm.
and it came out a couple of weeks ago back in October. So I don't know how much of a visual aspect of it, but we'll have it later. But here's what it looks like cover-wise.
I'll tell you what, it would fit right into the library. We'll give it that.
Oh, you think so? I
Yeah,
really appreciate that.
yeah.
Uh, so the story is we become beasts, and just the elevator pitch to it. It's about 10 strangers locked in a room, and they have to play a game of murder and deception. And if they don't figure out who murdered who, it could cost them their lives at the very end. The concept is based around the party game Werewolf, if you are familiar with that game or familiar with Mafia.
I am not. Can you maybe give us and the audience maybe just a little elevator pitch on that so I understand it?
So, Werewolf is a what they call a role-playing game.
Okay.
And in this game, there's about several people. Usually you play anywhere between 7 to 10 people,
Okay.
and 1 to 2 people, depending on the amount of people that are there, play as a werewolf. Everybody else is considered the villagers. And every night the werewolves kill somebody, and then during the day phase, everyone needs to figure out who they think is the werewolf, vote, and then they quote lynch that person, unquote. And the
Okay.
game keeps going there until you find all the werewolves. And the villagers are also given special abilities depending. So there is a sage or a seer. That person is able to know the identity of or know the role of one person in the game per night. And there's the gunner. Then there's the troublemaker. The troublemaker can switch people's roles once. And then who's the other? There's some other ones that they throw in every so often, but in this game, I only have the villager. I have the villagers, the seer, the gunner. The gunner has a gun, but
Okay.
has only one shot.
Okay. So
So, and
basically, your story's based on that, then, like you said, right?
right,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's a very intense version of that game, and it takes place over one night. Because originally, I wrote the story to be a short story. I
Yeah.
originally wanted it to be at most like 75 to 8,000 words. And then I was just gonna, for shits and giggles, I was just gonna send it out.
Yeah.
But my wife read it and she wanted more. So I went, okay.
Hey, that's good though. I mean, for you to like latch on to something, have fun doing it, and then your wife to say, "Yes, that's great. I want more." That's awesome though.
It was very, very sweet of her. So I went in, started doing the old clickety clickety clack, and just doled out another 31,000 words. Actually, another 30,000 words because it was already at 10,000. I was trying to get it down.
What
I was
does that
trying to,
equate to? How many pages is it? Like, I don't understand
well,
words. I'm not a big reader.
yeah, no, it's totally fine. So 40,000 words looks like about that big,
Okay. All
right?
right. Yep.
Whereas your Stephen King is about somewhere about
Yeah.
right about there.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yay high. So that equates to, in this case, 100. Let's see, hold on. Without the about author, it looks like it ends about 150 pages.
That's a perfect read. I mean, it's not
Oh
too
yeah,
long. It's not too short. That's perfect.
yeah. It's a totally approachable story. So in this story, it takes place over one night, and everybody has to figure out who the two werewolves are. And in this
All right.
case, all
Let
they
me
have to
pause
do
you
is
there.
yeah.
So I want to come back. So we want to find out who the two werewolves are. But can I tell you that already from the starts of it, I mean, it sounds like you've got yourself like a nice little
Uh-huh.
premise here, you know? Like this
Yeah.
premise could go a lot of different directions if you get it places, you know? All right, let's
Yeah.
go. Two werewolves.
All right, so there's two werewolves. Everybody else is villagers. Some of them have special abilities to be able to combat against to kind of gain more of a favor in the villagers end. And it takes place over one night. And it follows the story of 10 people. And it's basically it. I had a lot of fun writing it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with the violence. I looked at it and went, this could be triggering. So I made
Yeah.
a warning at some point going, hey,
Yeah.
anybody, I go trigger warnings if you're not okay with violence of any kind of violent nature, probably not your read.
I think that's smart of you though, just hey, upfront. Like and that's kind of yeah. If you're not okay with this, please do not proceed, you know?
Yeah. And so the other thing about this story, and I always want, and I, just like you, I want to be as transparent as possible. I never really meant for this story to go as far as it did. It kind of started off as me wanting to break away from something that I was already currently writing
Yeah.
and wanted to just make a short story and then just like kind of send it out and not really do much with it. because originally the story was kind of an alternative universe fan fiction that I was writing. And then when my wife read it, I was like, okay, all right, I gotta elaborate a little bit more now. But this originally started off as a fan fiction, based on a existing property called Jinro game. It's a manga from Japan. I highly recommend reading it. I cannot just go on taking
Yeah,
all the credit for this concept. Someone
right.
else came up with the concept.
But
The
still, I mean,
story.
anything that you
Hmm.
make your own, I mean, that's a what do they call that? That's a intellectual property, or there's some phrase for it, but I'm blank right now. But yeah, I mean, you're allowed to make whatever
As
cut.
long as it's not a blatant ripoff of the manga.
Right.
And all the characters are different. It's just conceptually, it's just the same.
Well, I mean,
And
look at the movies, like, you know,
mm,
Lord of the Rings, and then there was, there that starts the genre, and then there's other things that follow. So it's not. That's what you're doing. That was the genre, and you made it your own.
yeah, and I without a doubt, in the very beginning of this page, and I will love to just read this part out loud, is that I give credit to this person. It says here in the dedication page, it's like, first and foremost, this book is dedicated to Kawakami Ryo, who created the manga Jinro game, for its concept serves as the basis to the story. Please support him and read his manga. I don't want to ever just take 100% credit for this concept at all. The
Mhm.
characters are original, and even how the way I approach this story compared to his is definitely different. Conceptually, it's just the same.
I mean, that's
Mhm.
not to steal your thunder, because that's awesome, but that's kind of what I'm doing too. Like, if you think about it, like, I'm having you on to talk to you about your
Mhm.
topic, but maybe get some of your people to watch the show and like it and keep watching. Same as the next guy I talked to, maybe some of his people come over and stick around, and that's why it's so nice to hit all the different topics and all the different genres, 'cause you get all different types of eyes and people
I
watching.
100%, I 100% agree, because when I was doing my own podcast, I was always looking for other people to come on the show. That's why the name of my show is called Who's Listening.
Okay.
And that's how, yeah. And really, just like you, it's all about networking. And I will
Yeah.
tell you that when I started promoting the book on my own, I
Hmm.
started off with maybe 35 followers on Twitter. In
Right.
about less than a month, it's now at 413.
So that's since you released the book last month.
No, not even. Actually, as I was leading up to the book, about maybe 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the book, I was at 35, and I
Yeah.
started tweeting like crazy. I started interacting with other authors and then
Right.
other bloggers, and then I started getting more and more and more followers. My book has been retweeted to about 80,000 people already. And so I have just right now, like, I haven't done that in the last few days, but
Yeah.
it is a very successful action that I have to keep in. Right now, I'm only wearing a part of my marketing hat, because as an indie author, I've realized that I wear all the hats. I don't have an editor. I don't have a proofreader. I don't have a marketer, and I don't have a publisher. I do all those things myself.
All in one.
Right. I write, but then when I'm finished writing, I wear my proofreading hat and then my editing hat, and then I do all that. And then after I'm done, I do more writing. Okay. I alter it where I can. And then as I'm getting close to publishing, I start marketing the book. And that's literally one of the most important things. So I've been marketing the book like crazy. Now, granted, it's only at about a little over 60 copies sold, but hey man, within a month, that's how much I sold. I'm happy about that, especially as a first time author. I'm like, hey, it's better than only selling 5 copies in this month, right? From when it
Exactly.
released on
Exactly.
October 19th to present time,
So
six
where can
over
you
60
purchase
copies
your book?
better.
Give that a little shout out. Where can you purchase your book?
Not at any local bookstores unless they specifically order it, but um you can find it on barnesandnobles.com, and you can find it on amazon.com, and you can purchase a physical copy at $8.99, or you can get an ebook copy for $2.99.
Okay.
and they will print it on demand. Everybody who's ordered it has gotten a copy and has showed me that they got their physical copy. So it is a real thing. You're not going to be waiting for months before the book comes out to even get even a copy of it. But you won't find it in local bookstores. Like I said, you won't find it at your local Barnes and Nobles, your Books a Million, or your Borders. If that even is Borders still
So what I'm
around?
gonna do, here. Let me promise you this. So I've talked to a few different authors on the show thus far.
Mm-hmm.
Um, once I'm able, I'm acting like it's gonna be a long time. A few weeks from now, I'm gonna put an order in on Amazon. I'm gonna get all your guys' books, and everybody I talk to on the show, I'll get like their book, and I'll create like a little bookshelf in the back. I'll
I
try to
appreciate
read them.
that.
I'll try to read them. I don't know if I will because I'm not a big reader, but like the more I talk about this stuff and the more I hear about them, it interests me more to the point where like maybe
Mhm.
it's enough to get me to start reading, Maybe it's just
Maybe
enough.
I always recommend. I read everything as an ebook these days.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
as an ebook. I will sometimes have physical copies of books. Like earlier, you might have saw me reading a trade paperback, but I've had that for years. I
yeah.
haven't bought a physical copy of a book in a very long time because I just don't have the space for it.
Right.
So ebooks are
Everything's
just so much more
everything's
convenient.
electronic now, man. You can do
Everything's
anything.
electronic right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will tell you that writing this book was really fun, and it was a real learning experience. And now I'm currently working on another book that I started a while back, and I put it on the shelf. And now that I've published this book, I've had such a drive to get this other project finished as a book and have it released by next year. And that's already looking at targeting maybe 60,000 words, so just 20,000 words more than We
Right.
Become Beast, right?
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about that. That's a supernatural book. Yeah, it's a supernatural book. I'm about the afterlife and how the way I look at the afterlife. It was a fun story that I created a long time ago, and I'm really just like putting a lot of effort to
Yeah.
getting
Now that
it
you had
done
fun
and
with
out
the
in the
first
world.
one, you see what what. So I
Hmm.
guess with all the different, not to change topics, but I'm
No,
just
no,
thinking about all
it's
the
all
different
good.
roles you play in that process. How do you navigate the different roles? Like, do you set times, or like do you write for an hour and then edit for an hour? Like, how do you break up your different things you're doing in that process?
When you're a writer, you do actually two things. You write and you read. So I try to read when I'm not writing, I read.
Right?
And if I'm not reading, I'm writing. And reading can be anything from I've been reading a lot. I've been reading stories, short stories and long ones, and then I've
Hmm.
been going back and reading comic books again just for the hell of it. And then I write. So currently right now I'm not so much writing because I'm doing a lot more proofreading. So I'll give you an example. When I wrote the Beast story, I
Hmm.
wrote and I wrote and I wrote until I got to an ending. And then I sent it out to people that I trust and I had them read it. And then in that moment, while they were doing that, I was proofreading it myself. And then that's when I start wearing my proofreading hat. And then I start proofreading and I start making all the changes as an editor right then and there. So the proofreading and the editing hat kind of go hand in hand.
Doesn't that
And
take you
then
back to like a school? Like when you have to proofread and edit, don't you feel like you're in school during that part of it?
I look at everything with the perspective of that it's fun.
Good for you. I don't know how you do it for that. Like the writing, I've been doing a little bit of that, just stories and things we talk about. That's
Mm.
fun, but like the process of like scrubbing it and making sure it's right. I don't know how you have enjoy that part of it. That sounds tough.
Well, I, it's a, it's a, for me, it's one of those things where I know that it has to get done,
Right.
and
Right.
I'm gonna have fun with it. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna sit here and droll and moan about it and go, oh beer, there's just nothing fun about it anymore. I can't do that. I cannot get into that attitude. I cannot get into that
It wouldn't be
mindset.
a good approach, but
It
yeah, I mean,
would not be a good approach, man. That's why I'm saying you got to do it right. So I have fun with it, and I actually write up tiny what I like to call programs and these programs are step by step done, right? And so I try to make sure that I'm following it almost every day, and then I go back and I change what I need to change as I do them. So you can look at it as like a checklist. You can look at it like that's a, you know, that's what
Yeah,
I'm looking at. You look at it as a checklist. You know what I mean?
it's like a checklist, a
It's like a
to-do list.
checklist.
Yeah.
It's like a checklist. And so, and then the other thing is that I kind of apply a condition of living where I'm like, okay, did I read X amount of words? No. Okay, well, now I have to make sure I do read that X amount of words and maybe a little bit more. And then what did I do to make sure that happened? What went right? Did I kiss my wife before I went in there? Did I tell her that I love her? Does she
Well,
need
I
my
have to pause
attention?
you then, because you just brought it on yourself. You brought this one
Mm,
on yourself. You're married. You have a
I
wife.
am 2 years.
How does she allow you this much time to do these things?
It's super easy. Okay, so this is the secret. Hold on,
Tell
everybody,
me.
shut
Tell
up.
me.
Everybody, shut up.
Yeah.
So what I do is that we make dinner. Okay, so right, so dinner's at night. Okay, and so what I do is after we finish eating dinner, or as we're eating dinner, I put on Gordon Ramsay on the telly,
Oh,
and
sneaky.
then I leave her there. And when I'm worried about her, I just go, "Oh, she's got Gordon Ramsay on the telly. We're good. We're good. Go, go, go. Clickety, 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 clack."
Dude, that's hilarious. I mean, I love it. I might pull that. I might try that because she loves that shit. She loves those reality TV shows. Maybe I'll put on some Real Housewives or I'll put on some Big Brother or something like that and I'll just sneak off into the office. I love it. I'm
My my wife absolutely loves Gordon Ramsay. So, but the other thing is that my wife 100% supports me
right.
in my endeavors. When I tell her, as long as I tell her like, "Hey, I need to do this tonight," she understands.
Yeah.
It causes no friction between us. When she sees me on my computer and she sees me reading and she sees that I have headphones, she understands that I'm in the
So
middle of something.
I better take this opportunity. Like I apologize to
Hmm.
my wife because she does let me do this. You know, she
Hmm.
does. We have kids though, so with the kids, like it's
That's an
not that she
added.
doesn't
That's an
let me,
added.
but
That's an added card right there, man.
I can't. I just can't do it. I can't do it. But I get my time at night. I got my 8 o'clock until I'm done time, and I can do whatever I want. So
That's
thank her for that.
totally fair, man. That makes a lot of sense, and that's all. A lot of these like relationships, it works. A lot of the times, it works on communication and transparency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the way
I'll tell you
it's.
what, man. Thus far, I can already tell you're a very intelligent man. You're an
Nope.
intelligent man.
IQ is 76, man, but I also cheated off the other kid.
All
Be
right.
like, I
So
was
we
like
talked.
going, I'm looking, I'm like, Daryl, what'd you get for that other pattern on number 4?
Yeah. 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 All right. So we move. You know, I don't want to leave your book because you know
No.
that's obviously why you're here. But we'll bring it back up as we go here. But you know, We Become Beasts. I will say it sounds like an interesting read. You're giving the people credit that deserve credit, and that's big of you.
Oh my
Um,
goodness, yeah, of course. Especially
I
the cover artist. He did such a phenomenal job. Like once you get, I mean, look at that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that you could find that in a library.
You
I'd
know,
see it
the
there.
yeah, the fact that he drew it, I gave him a vision and he went with it, and this artist did such a phenomenal job. You can follow him on Instagram, you can follow him on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
I'll send you that later, his because I don't want to like dox him, but it's Kopopen is how it was is his Twitter handle and his Instagram handle. So I'll send you that later. I
Yeah,
actually
do
sent you a
that.
link to the book as
Okay,
well.
perfect. Um, so you know, we're gonna leave that now. It was a
Shove
great
it.
conversation, and I'm
Shove
excited
it.
to get some more about that. But let's just kind of go on to some other stuff here. So, you know, as I did my research on you coming on the show, I looked at I don't know where I found you. Where's your big platform? Where are you at?
You
Twitter?
Wikipedia.
Are
I'm
you
on
on
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia?
I'm on Wikipedia. I have a Wikipedia
Cool.
page.
All
Yeah.
right.
I was the arsonist.
Okay. Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my gosh. So tell me about cosplay. I saw you're into that, and I don't know much about it. So tell me about it.
So cosplay is a what do they call those? It's just it was a word created to mean costume role playing or costume
Okay.
playing. So it's like it's a mashup of those two words together. And cosplaying is just that you you dress up as a character from any kind of property. Usually, it's the two main ones are always anime or video games, and then you just go
Yeah.
down the list from there:
Right.
movies, TV shows, animated series, books,
I mean, that's a
mangas.
really big thing now. I mean, that you see that a lot of places.
I remember when I used to go to conventions when I was in grade 10, and I remember cosplaying was maybe like 20% of the people that went.
Right.
Now you're looking at almost like 80% of the people who attend these things are cosplaying, if not slightly more.
Yeah.
That's how I remember. I just everybody was just wearing regular clothes. If you saw someone cosplaying, that was like the cool. It was a cool thing. Like, oh wow, you dressed up as that person. That's dope. Oh my goodness,
Mhm.
you're Kaneda from Akira. Like, awesome. Oh my goodness. It's like you're Jubei from Ninja Scroll. What? Now it's you can't even go freaking 10 feet without tripping over another Genshin Impact cosplayer. I'm just saying. I'm not hating on the franchise. I'm just saying this is like it's everyone does it.
Are they which ones did you go to? Like, where's the big ones at? Which one did you go to?
I went to MegaCon in Orlando. I went to Holiday Matsuri. That's also in Orlando. I've been to. I wanted to do MetroCon, but unfortunately, with MetroCon, they decide this wasn't an issue until literally maybe 2 weeks
Oh
or a
wow.
week before the con, where they
Yeah.
wanted you to show proof of vaccination or negative COVID test. And
Hmm.
my COVID test came in freaking late to the point that I couldn't even go. And I'm not vaccinated.
A vaccination. I mean,
Not even gonna get into that.
yeah,
I'm
we
just
don't
not.
no, not at all, not at all.
People, I believe, here's what I'm gonna say one thing, and I even said this on my show. I believe in what's it called? I believe in personal research to draw your own conclusions.
Yep. Yep.
I don't need to go pro or anti. You do your
I
research,
say that on
make your
here.
own conclusion.
The audience and whoever is listening or joining, they can make their own opinions. This is opinions only. So, once in
Yeah,
a while, that's why I say that because I know things are going to slip out here and there that maybe there's one side and there's the other side, but like it's opinions. Like it doesn't. You
right.
can't hold
No,
me.
but then there's facts. Like pineapple and ham on pizza is the most delicious thing in the world.
So, where are you from? What part of the country are you from?
Well, I live in Tampa Bay,
Okay.
Florida.
Okay. So is that a Florida thing? Because
Oh
I'll be
hell
honest,
no, hell no.
I've seen it, I've tried it, and I don't remember it ever being something that I wanted to get again. I mean,
See, this is the
how do you
twist I
get
was
into that?
telling you about. This is the twist I'm telling you about. This is the twist I was telling you about. This is where we're
Okay,
now gonna. This is where rubber meets the road, boss man.
let's do it. Let's do it.
In my old country, my mother used to order that pizza all the time. So I at first I didn't like it. I used to just do plain cheese pizza, but then
Yeah.
eventually as we ran out of cheese pizza and I still wanted pizza, I got tired of picking off the pineapple ham that I started eating it, and then eventually it's what they call an acquired taste.
Acquired taste.
It's an
Okay.
acquired taste, my friend, I tell you. It's like sushi or an espresso. You don't like it at first, but then eventually after a while you see it. It flips it in
Okay.
reverse and you get a new perspective.
Okay. And all those other things you just mentioned, that's right because the first time I had those things, I didn't like sushi, I didn't like espresso, I didn't like coffee, but now I eat sushi and I drink coffee. So I mean, that's an acquired taste. You're right.
There you go, man. There you go. Yeah, man. For real.
So the next
But
time
pineapple on pizza, maybe the next time
the next time my family gets pizza, I will get a pineapple pizza and I'm going to try it.
you
One
do
more
it on
time.
half. You can always do it on half, or you can always do it on a quarter. They will
I'm going
do
to
it
give
any
it
way
another
you
quote.
want. The
Right.
prices are always the same. But I will tell you this: it's better to get two small pies instead of a large pie because the math adds up to being just about a few dollars less to get two smalls.
Hold on, man. You might have just broke the internet. What'd you say? So the next time I go to the store, if I do the math of the circumference of the pizza and the amount of cheese,
Right.
blah blah, blah, two smalls is better than one large.
2 smalls is better than 1 large. And then sometimes they do that special where they're like, a pizza place will go, hey, like we're doing like $12 for large in a 2-liter soda, and you go,
Yeah.
oh well, that's like a really good idea. I'm gonna do that, Sharon. And then, and, but
Yeah.
but then there's other
Hey,
times,
that's me. You can say Bossman says, because I always go, oh yeah, that's a great fucking deal. Let's get that deal.
babe, I'm telling you, like it's a $12 value, but it's really like an $18 value. It's really good. Babe, listen to me. I'm trying to tell you. Like, listen to me. I know that I married you, and I said you'll always be right, but for what I think I got it this time. I'm just
Oh my god, that's
no,
comical.
but okay. So sometimes it depends. Like I said, it depends. It's better to get 2 small pies than 1 large pie because it ends up being a few dollars cheaper. But it
Yeah, well,
depends on where you go.
right. I want to do the math because now that you say that, yeah, I mean,
Because
there's
okay,
something to that.
because all right. So what's an average of a large pie? About 15. It's about It's about 18
Anyway,
inches in circumference usually, right? If I'm right. So usually about 16 to 18 inches is the circumference of a pie, or sorry, that's incorrect. The diameter of a pie.
right.
Whereas a personal pie or a small pie is 12 inches. Now, depending on where you go, depending on how much it costs, that's still 2 small pies being both 12 inches in diameter adds up to 24 inches of diameter of pizza, therefore equivalating to a larger circumference of pizza. Ergo, it's more bang for your buck.
You may have just saved me a few dollars in the long run, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
appreciate
just
it.
even if it's a 10-inch pie, when you think about it, it's still 20 inches compared to a 16 to an 18. You got 2 more inches of pie, my fan.
Well, we're gonna have to do some math. We're gonna have to do some math on the small
You're
price
gonna have
versus
to do it.
large price,
You're gonna have to do it at
specials,
some
all
point.
that stuff. Are you a pizza man? Do you have a pizza parlor or something?
Oh
How'd you
no,
get this
no.
information?
I saw it on Reddit the other day, and I went,
Oh my
huh.
gosh. Okay. All right. I love it.
I'm a lurker. I'm a lurker.
I love these little tricks of the trade, you know. That's something, next time I get pizza, the pineapple, and I'm gonna test the hypothesis there. So, oh my
Boss
goodness.
man, I just saw
Um,
a I just saw a tiny human.
yeah, somehow he got out here. The missus is supposed to have him, but things happen. So
It's
hey,
all
so
good.
you've kind of previewed it a little bit through the
What's
show
up?
here, and I had enjoyed it. Tell me about your voiceover work because you can tell you did it with some of your stuff there.
Yeah, I haven't done anything major yet. I've been volunteering actually. I volunteered at a few places. One of them happens to be reading public domain books on LibriVox.
Okay.
And I remember I'll give you a funny story for another time. But I also do volunteering for a radio drama, a live radio drama, if you will. It's not a radio drama in the sense that it's another podcast. We actually read it live to an audience. We just did one literally last Saturday, and yeah, we did it last Saturday, for an audience of like almost like 40 people, and it was just awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have sound effects, we have music, we have background music playing, there's ambiance in it, and then we do costumes and everything. And but it's not like a play, it's a reading. So I
Right.
have a
Right.
script in front of me, but I always do my best to read out to the audience, and I pantomime what I'm doing. So recently, one of the things that I did was I was an engineer on a ghost train, and I was like mimicking that I was working the throttle and working a brake on the lap, and then I was even doing one of these. You gotta just to kind of give the reality that I'm on a train, right?
Entertainment. It's entertainment.
Right. And so I've always loved voice acting. I wouldn't say obsessed, but I remember I used to follow more voice actors than I did movie,
Yeah.
film,
Yeah.
TV show actors. I was
Oh,
more
so
into.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's not a that's not a common thing because I'll be honest, I don't know a lot of the voice actors, and you
I
you were
mean,
able to follow them.
yeah, I mean, like if your biggest voice actors are the Tom Kenny, okay, and you'll know him as the voice of SpongeBob, And
Okay.
then there's Tara Strong is the second one that a lot of people know, and you might know her better as Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony. Harley, she was the original voice of Harley Quinn on Batman the Animated Series in the 90s. That's one of her
Okay.
like most
Okay.
well-known roles is
Yeah.
that character. And so those are your like big top voice actors in the industry. There's other actors that are out there. You got Diedrich Baker, Diedrich Bader, D. Bradley Baker, Joe, John DiMaggio, and then there's who are the other ones
So
that are out?
these I
Mhm.
mean, they're as prevalent in things as, big time actors, but you just don't see their faces. Their voices
Right.
do a lot of different things. Okay, cool.
Right. Sometimes they do live action. Sometimes they do live action roles. Sometimes they've done that. A
Mhm.
lot of them have even gotten their start there, and then they realized they were better off as voice actors. Like Carrie Walgren, she did Mad TV, and then eventually, just like her and Phil Lamar. Phil Lamar was on Mad TV, and then eventually they just went into voice work, and they realized this is better. And
Yeah.
I love to do voices. I used to love doing impersonations. That was just something that I would do. Be like, it's fantastic. It was wonderful. I came over to the Bossman's house. It was absolutely wonderful. That's my Clinton.
Okay. Okay. Wait, hold on.
No,
That was your what?
that was my Clinton.
Okay. All right. I
No,
got it now that I know what you were doing, but yeah, I need a
no,
little
no.
precursor.
No, it wasn't Clinton. Anyways, but as I did that, so I decided, let me get into more voice acting. So I started volunteering at LibriVox, and I started doing this thing with a friend of mine. He runs this live radio company, this troupe, if you will. And I've been doing that, and it's been great. I haven't been doing a lot of focus on it just because I've been focusing more on the writing and publishing and everything that. So that's a lot of that stuff has been taken the back burner. But as we get closer to the end of the year and I get things moving again, I'm pretty sure I will go. I'll go back to it, start doing auditions again, and look into making a demo reel. But I've some things that I auditioned for was this like it was like a furry thing. I think I got the role, but then the project fell through at some point. But I played the
How do you
nervous.
is everything online with auditions
Oh
and stuff?
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. As you can see behind me, this is moving blankets. And then
Right.
on right here, if you're looking, these are foam panels on a bookshelf. And now you don't see it behind you on behind the web camera, but there is more foam panels. And then of course I have this thing right here. This is an isolation thing that of foam to keep all the sound in and
Nice little
isolated.
nice
So
little nice little booth. Get a nice little
right.
booth.
So it's a little boost because I can go back here and you can hear me, but you don't hear me as well. But if
Right.
I keep going in the front, you hear me better. So then
I'm
I
gonna
can
have to
do a
build
lot
myself
more.
one of those.
I could do a lot more voice work. And a little trick is that I learned is distance and not talking directly at it. More you talk at an angle, it still picks you up, but now you don't hit you hear the, it's more going out towards you.
Look at this
So
advice you're giving us.
yeah,
I mean, come
and
on, man. This is great.
I've yeah, I've done minotaurs. I talked like this one time, and I said I'm gonna crack and break his bones. And I've done that.
That voice, I mean, you just have to that's the thing. You have to find the right opportunity because, like,
Hmm.
that voice is a voice you could see somewhere. I mean, I don't you're gonna change it, do whatever, but, like, you do have a good voice for that type of thing, you know?
Thank you so much. I am still waiting back on one audition. I might send a message to the people on Twitter or on
How do you
Instagram.
find that stuff? Is that, like, Twitter
I
stuff?
I go on castingcall.club.
Oh,
That
okay,
is a good
okay.
place to go to. There's other places to even go to even volunteer your voice. I've done that. I actually, I can round back to the story I mentioned earlier when I was doing reading for public domains. The way it works is that someone posts it on a forum. They say these are the chapters available. People respond to it saying I want to do this chapter, and you do your whole recording and everything. So I'm reading this story. It was called The Pirate
Okay.
of Manate or Manamar or something like that. And as I'm reading it, I'm doing the voices, I'm getting into it, and all of a sudden, because it was written in 1896, it was a hard N word. And
Yeah.
I went,
Gonna
oh
have to
my
pause.
God.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Well, I mean, it's I mean, in film, I mean, it's in film, it's in books. I mean,
Right.
like you said, I'm not using it in a negative way. I mean,
Post. They accepted
you
it.
did read it. You
Oh,
did.
I read it. I read it just the way it was
See,
said.
like you said, even then I would pause. I
I
don't. I
no,
don't know.
but the funny thing is, as I was reading it, I was just like really into it, and then I got into it, and I said it, and I went, "Oh my god, that was in there."
Yeah, yeah, that's
Took a
problematic.
second, and went, "Okay, all right, I'm reading that again." Roll it
Oh
back.
my goodness.
As we get more into it, let's find a place here, and I can
Okay.
do a quick read of excerpt of the book. How
Yeah,
about that?
let's
How's
do
that
it.
sound? Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're a voiceover artist. You're you're just an entertainer, Leon. You are an
Thank
entertainer.
you. Thank you. I used to do beatboxing on stage at one point. That was fun.
Give me an intro beatbox. Dude, we got a star here, folks. We got a star.
All right.
Awesome.
There,
Awesome. Yay.
there we go. We did it. All right. So this is We Become Beast by me, Leon Andrews. And then at this point, we're about 7 pages into the story where they learn that they are here to play a game called Werewolf. The voice spoke in a matter-of-fact tone. The game is simple, werewolf. In this game, everyone plays the role of villagers, but among you are 2 werewolves. The role of the villagers is to discover the werewolves before they claim a victim during the night. Everyone will be given a role in this game: villager, seer, gunner, troublemaker, or werewolf. Under each of your desks is an envelope taped underneath. Reach under and open it up to learn your role. Do not reveal your roles. Serena and everyone did as they were instructed. Reaching under their desk and found their envelopes, Serena opened up hers, pulling out a card with an illustration of a woman in a crystal ball. At the bottom, she saw her role: seer. What does that even mean? She looked at Jocelyn, glaring at her card, as did everyone else. She looked upset over their given roles, but it was too difficult to tell who was a werewolf already. Everyone has their roles, and I'll explain them, said the voice over the speakers. Villager, you have no special abilities. The seer. The seer can learn one person's true role during the night phase. The gunner, you'll receive a gun with 1 bullet. You have the choice to use it or not. If you choose to use it, then make it count, because killing the werewolf wins the game. Troublemaker. During the night phase, your role is to choose 2 people and switch their roles. This means it's possible to switch someone from being a villager to a werewolf. You will not know either the person's role. For the ones who are werewolves, your job is to choose 1 villager a night for slaughter. Everyone paid close attention to better know their roles. Being a villager left a target on your back. Knowing there was a chance the werewolves could kill someone as important as a seer or a gunner puts the villagers at a disadvantage. Serena felt the target on her back widen. The pressure mounted and weighed on top of her. Her breathing started to speed up. In the morning, after everyone wakes up, everyone has until 12 o'clock to figure out who the werewolf is and vote. When voting commences, the person with the most votes is lynched. If voting ends with an equal number of votes between 2 people, then another vote takes place to decide between which of those 2 people will be lynched. Everyone sat still, waiting for the next instruction. Serena didn't like this situation. She was sure nobody else did either. This was total bullshit, forcing people to play a child's game, and for what? Tranquila, mija. Her dad's voice popped into her head. She balled her fist on her lap and sat still, lips shut tight. If the person chosen is a werewolf, then the other werewolf will die with them. This includes any werewolf switched by the troublemaker. However, if a villager is lynched, then all the villagers will die. The stakes were high and grim, with a chance for many people to die. We'll be back in a moment and allow you time to get to know each other, the voice said. The intercom shut out with a harsh buzz. Serena exchanged tense and awkward glances with Jocelyn, Stacy, and even Rodrigo. The tension grew into a palpable, grim atmosphere, and everyone sensed it. I guess we should introduce ourselves without revealing our roles, said the one in glasses, breaking the silence after the mysterious disembodied voice vanished explaining the rules. Let's go from left to right, clockwise probably. My name is Damon. I work for a web development company. Rodrigo, said Rodrigo. Second year going on my third year at the community college. Work part-time at a grocery store. I'm Esteban, said the guy with the faux hawk. I do part-time classes at college, but I'm also a full-time streamer. Yo, is there any money in that? Like, for real? Rodrigo said, eyes partially closed, nodding at Esteban. I'm thinking I'm probably gonna drop out and because I'm making pretty good money. Rodrigo nodded in his head, approving that statement. They kept going back and forth about how fun and lucrative this hobby was. All right, guys, Jocelyn interjected. This wasn't the time to praise one another. I'm Jocelyn. I'm a sophomore and a teacher's assistant on campus. I'm Stacy, said Stacy, her tone sheepish and full of anxiety. I don't want to share anything else. I'm Serena, said Serena. I go to the same school as Jocelyn and Rodrigo. She cleared her throat to let everyone know she was done and the next person could go. I'm Julio, said the guy in the button-down plaid shirt, sleeves rolled up. I'm a freelance artist. Serena looked at Julio on her left. That's cool, said Stacy. Anything I might know? I like a lot of art. Maybe, he said. Have you ever been to Once Upon a Tea? It's on Brand and Clover? Yeah, she nodded. You did that mural on Miyazaki characters. That's funny. Not a lot of people get that reference unless they're really into anime. Julio laughed. I like a lot of anime, Stacy said. She noticed everyone looking at her and blushed a little and silenced herself. I'm sorry. There's no need to be sorry, Jocelyn said, placing a hand on Stacy's back, smiling at her. Stacy returned a small smile back. I'm Devon, said the one with the small fro. I'm a senior and I'm doing an internship for a web development company. He gestured at Damon. The same place where Damon works at, actually. No kidding. Damon looked at Devon, vaguely recognizing him. I've seen you around. Yeah, okay. Cool. I'm Arabelle, said the girl with the blonde curly hair. I'm a cosplay model. I'm doing my first year in college. She rubbed her fingers beneath her desk. I've actually run into a few of you guys before. Wait, really? Asked Julio, his head cocked and searched for any memories of her, as did Serena and the others. Arabelle gestured at Julio. I once helped out a friend's booth that was down from yours at a convention this year. Serena and I are in lit class, and Jocelyn TA is my public speaking class. Rodrigo and I, well, we did a Tinder date like almost a year ago when I used to have black hair. She turned and looked at Rodrigo. That's why you probably don't recognize me. Rodrigo started connecting the dots in his head, but still couldn't place when they dated. Serena, Jocelyn, and Julio finally recognized her. Arabelle looked at Devon, Damon, Stacy, and the other guy. I don't know the rest of you, she said. The last guy next to Damon introduced himself. I'm Frank, he said. I'm a barista at a coffee shop. I do a lot of odd jobs to make extra cash, but that's it about me. Like everybody else, I don't know why I'm here, but I do remember walking to my car before getting jumped. He cleared his throat. Next thing I know, I'm waking up here with y'all. They talked amongst themselves, getting to better let me get that again. Getting to better acquainted with one another. Serena kept it together for the most part, but couldn't help with trying to figure out who the werewolf could be. I played this game before, said Julio. He had everyone's attention. Not like this. You know, it's a party game. I play with a few friends on a game night. There should be like 2 werewolves and everyone else is a villager. 2 out of 10 will be difficult to figure out, said Damon. He held his chin, looking at the cement floor. That's a 5% chance of being right and a 95% chance of being wrong. Even lower when the werewolves claim their victim. Yeah, Julio agreed. Plus, when I play a werewolf, I would lie like crazy just to get the heat off me. I don't see why anyone else could do that now. Yo, what the fuck? Rodrigo exclaimed. Could that mean you're the werewolf then? He stood up, scraping his chair against the floor. He pointed his finger, accusing Julio. So you could be the werewolf. I'm not. Why would I even say if I was? Julio stood up, scraping his chair as well. Like you said, to take the heat off you, right? Fuck you, I ain't no werewolf, Rodrigo. Guys, Jocelyn yelled, interjecting. Nobody else knows who the werewolves are at this point. Nah, fuck that. Rodrigo dismissed the bitch and jumped over his desk. Rushing towards Julio, who already had his guard up, they wrestled one another, exchanging blows to their sides. Rodrigo kept trying to take him down to the floor, but Julio kept fighting back. The other guys jumped in and separated them. Rodrigo took some bumps to his face and his shirt stretched at the collar. He said, "Let me go." We don't know that for sure, Devon yelled. Calm the fuck down, bro. Serena breathed in shaky breaths. each breath more rapid than the last. She rocked back and forth in her seat. It started already, and they were turning on each other. It was a matter of time, becoming apparent that it was now. Tranquila, mija, her father's voice said in her head. Jocelyn noticed the anxiety was eating at her. She knelt by Serena's side and placed her hand on her lap. Hey, Serena, she said. We'll figure this out. Serena accepted Jocelyn's hand but avoided eye contact altogether. All right, everybody calm down. Take a seat, the modulated voice buzzed. The guys let go of Rodrigo and Julio and did as they were instructed. The game begins now. You have one night to figure out who the werewolves are, although we are not without giving the villagers a chance to win this game. In 15 minutes, we will commence your first chance to vote. What? Exclaimed Serena. That's so soon! The good news is, if you choose right, then the werewolves lose and everyone else can go home. Choose wrong and the game continues until tomorrow night. No! Serena yelled. She slammed her hands on the desk and stood fast. Her chair fell back. No, 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 no. Ignoring Dad's voice in her head. You can't make us do this. You can't make us do this. She yelled at the speaker as if it was somebody's face. Serena, Jocelyn raised her voice. Just calm down and sit back down. Don't tell me to calm down. No more people were telling her what to do anymore. She was sick and tired. No more. No more. She was done. Hey, let us go. No one here is going to play this game. This stupid fucking game. She coughed. Her voice strained to speak. Let us go now. She coughed again. It became difficult to breathe. Let us go. She choked on her words. Her vision began to blur as her hearing became faint. The feelings in her legs grew numb. We're going to end it there.
All right. Well, let me give you a review.
Okay.
I like the honesty on this show. Okay, It's all opinion based, so I'm going to give you my opinion of that.
Go for it.
So basically, I wear these sunglasses for all types of reasons, but that one I like closing my eyes and just listen to the story. I was in the story. I could see it being a movie. Like that was a movie more than I saw it as a book, in my honest opinion. But that's how movies start. You know what I mean? Like I could see that in a film. Like I could see that on the big screen.
There was a lot of dialogue in that excerpt. I'm not gonna lie, but when you're writing for 10 people, it ends up happening. But you were saying?
Yeah, and then I will say your Stacy voice. I'll tell you what, that was might need to work on the Stacy voice just a little bit, but I like the rest. This to work, and you need to get yourself a deal. That way, the editors and the publishers can worry about that stuff. That's not your worry to decide. If they don't want it, they don't want it. If they do want it, they do want it. That's not your call. All right, man. Well, hey, I think that's a perfect way to leave us because I'm gonna go talk to our other friend here, and that gives the audience a good way to end it. If they're like me, I can see that scene in the movie, aka reading a book, but I'm interested to see where it goes. So that was a nice little teaser, I guess.
Well, I'm glad. Well, thank you very much for having me on the show. This is We Become Beasts is the name of the story. You can find it on Amazon, on BarnesandNobles.com. It's available as a physical copy and as an ebook. The ebook goes for $2.99, as the physical copy goes for $8.99. And I will provide you links, Bossman.
Yeah, go give the audience where's the spot to go to find you? What platform?
You can find me on Twitter as alternative Zen. That's one word. And then you can also find me on the gram as alternative Zen, but an underscore between the words.
Okay.
And those are my go-to platforms. I also have a blog, but you should be able to find that if you go right into my Twitter, or if you go into my Instagram. I have them right
so
there.
send those over, and I'll put those at the bottom of our little episode here.
Hell yeah, I'll send you an email right after this.
All right. Well, hey, Leon Andrews, up and coming author, voiceover artist, audiobook translator.
Yeah.
Cosplay, something, whatever else we talked about. But that was fun, man. That was good. And I will say, I mean, the stuff you gave me was interesting, and I loved your voiceover stuff. I mean, like I said, when I close my eyes, I can hear that voice somewhere. I don't, like you said, I have no idea where or what the hell you're doing, but I could hear that on TV or the
I
radio. You know.
what I do is I'm just a simple medium, and I reach into the ether, and it works through me as a medium into the physical realm. It just comes out. I work through. I'm nothing more than a tool in the physical world that works in that other realm.
What's that? Is that your witch? What
That's
do we
my
got?
witch. Yes, my witch.
All right, I got it. Yeah. Maybe we'll have you on another night. You do voices. We try to guess your voice. It'll be like a game show. All right.
Right. I love it.
All right, man. Well, hey, audience, thanks for listening. Leon, thanks for joining. This was Lude Presents Rabbit Holes. Like I said, it's anything you want it, anything I want it to be. I guess it's not, but. Like that's why I want the audience. I want the community. I want the involvement. I want them to tell us what they want to hear, so I can reach out to somebody and bring them on and talk to them. You know, exactly.
All day.
All right. Well, hey, Leon, thank you. And that was this episode of Lude Present Rabbit Holes.
Hold my